Well, hello everyone. Just going live right now here from the Madera Speedway, single camera. Just give you guys a little report. Pro late models just dumped off the track. If you guys can hear me, I'm not listening to a monitor, just single camera. Give me a shout out here on the live chat if you would. I see Sterling Baker's out there, Don Harding. So let me know if the audio sounds fine. It's clear. Like I say, I'm not using a monitor. I just set up a single camera and encoder, a computer, and a real quick little setup here for us so I could chat with you guys and let you know what's going on. Do a little bit of testing tonight. We've made a lot of adjustments again after last week, so we keep adjusting here. So let me know what it sounds like if you would. Who else is out there on the live chat? Looks like Bruce Bevins. Aiden, hi Kenny, on the way to Madera. Also is getting really smoky. That's probably because all the tire rubber out here, Aiden. 35 late models burning up rubber out here. That's pro late models. And then another big batch. Let's see, what do we have? 16 juniors. I think we had 12 or 13 out. Hear ya. Hopefully it's not too obnoxious sounding. Like I say, I'm not using a monitor right now. So Mini Cup Bandoleros are on the track right now. Pro late models just finished up their first session. Buddy Shepard on top of the board, 14,848. Then Mike Doss is listed second, but that's an error. That's Jeremy Doss, 14,875. Mike Doss would be down the ways just a little bit. They've got Jeremy listed in the 35 car. They've got that flipped. But look at this right now. This track is lightning fast. Let's go all the way back to 10th, 11th, and the 14s. We'll probably see a track record fall tomorrow. Daniel Root Jr., hear ya. Ryan Reynolds, good and clear, good. Sean Wiley, good to see you guys out there. So like I said, we had 5 weeks of perfect live streams. And with the internet signal, cell signal, a bunch of stuff we're working on here, all of a sudden last Saturday night during the Harvest Classic, we dropped the feed twice. So we did a lot of testing this week. That's why I wanted to go live here for a half hour, 45 minutes, do a little bit of testing the way we've got this set up now with another backup line. So if it does fail, it won't stop the light signal coming in, but it jumps to a backup is what we've put together here. Next up, we'll have just a few minutes here. It looks like the 5150 junior late models are lining up on the backside of the track. Then the Nut Up Pro late models preparing for the Nut Up Short Track Shootout, 10,000 to win show tomorrow night. Bama Mowers, hi y'all from Talladega, Alabama. Roll the Tide. That's probably the best sounding word that I know, Talladega. It's like Eric Church's song when he sings Talladega, and just that word, just perfect word, perfect town for a racetrack. Just that Talladega sounds like a racetrack. Who else is out there? There's a few of you guys now. I'm glad you guys joined us for this little test. Like I said, I've just got one stationary camera parked right here beside me. So you can see the start-finish line down into 3 and 4. Sean Whaley, great to see some live racing testing. Well, Sean, if you want to see some racing, some of the best you will see in the country in 2020, tune in right here on Short Track TV tomorrow night. Yes, we're crazy. We're doing these free live streams instead of pay-per-view. So while we're filming for MAV TV, you'll see the entire show here tomorrow night. And right now that was 35 late models took the racetrack, 35, 36. There was 2 without transponders. And then we have another 5 scheduled to come in tomorrow. So that's 41 pro late models. Not a bad car count for the world of COVID that we're living in. Sterling Baker, good evening, Kenny. Well, hello, Sterling. Can't wait to watch tomorrow night. Boy, I can't either. It is going to be a barn burner. The first thing at 4 o'clock that happens, actually an hour before we go live, will be the B main event for $4,500 to win. That will be a throwdown. But here's what we're doing. Just to keep my guys, because, again, what we're doing is filming for MAV TV, our MAV TV production, and then we do the live stream with a handful of the cameras. So you guys will see about, I think, 8 or 9 cameras of the 17 we're shooting with. So to keep my guys from absolutely destroying themselves, they'll be live tomorrow night from 5 to about 10:30 p.m. as scheduled. So what will happen, we'll film the B main at 4 o'clock, and then when we come on air live at 5 o'clock, we will re-air in a tape delay. We'll broadcast the B main for you guys at about 5:10 after the pre-race show. Junior late models on the track right now, 5150 junior late models. Really, really stout field. Kind of looking for a new winner in this class as well. And I'll tell you someone that's been looking pretty stout tonight is little Ethan Nascimento. He's been looking really, really good. Jake Bowman on the track also. Jake's due for his breakthrough victory. Brody Armtrout has a very stout crew chief that's come on board, Roger Bracken. In fact, Roger just won with a young lady down in the ARCA series. Just made a little bit of history in ARCA just last Saturday night. So maybe he'll make a little history in the 5150 juniors. Let's go down the pro lineup real quick. Buddy Shepard, Jeremy Doss. This is the leaderboard right now. Carlos Vieira, Rayson Vernon, and then Bubba Nascimento. That's your top five. Now, two of those top fives are big engine cars. If I'm speaking a little bit loud, sorry, I don't have a monitor. And as the cars get louder, we tend to get louder unless I'm pushing a signal back into my ears. But hopefully you guys can hear that music out there on the track behind us. So, again, of the top five, we've got two big horsepower engines. Now, Eric Holmes has won this event multiple times with a big horsepower engine. So the 602s tend to dominate during the summer months. It cools off, even though it's hot right now. But we've hooked this racetrack up. We did a lot of work. We should have a real good low groove and a real good, really high groove, Darlington groove tomorrow night, so this should be exciting. Let's go 6th through 10th. Dylan Zampa's in 6th. Ryan Philpott 7th. Ryan very fast. Dean Thompson is 8th. 9th is Mike Doss. And then 10th is Austin Herzog. Really, really fast race cars all the way out to 10th. Keeps going. Let's go 11th to 15th. Ross Stramiska 11th. Eric Nascimento is 12th. Trevor Huddleston is 13th. Barry Carr 14th. And Seth Wise 15th. Again, winning race cars. 16th fastest car right now. He's won the short track shootout. Logan Zampa, then Tim Skoglund. Sheldon Cooper's just been knocking top fives down right and left. And then 19th is Joey East. Joey was kind of a hit and miss whether he was going to run or not. He's in the Grant Thompson car, so they're trying to shake that down, but they're 19th quick right now. 20th is Matt Wendt. 21st, Parker Malone. 22nd, Mike Weeman. 23rd, Hans Biller. Tyler Herzog 24th, and then Jason Romero 25th. Now, a lot of these guys are just shaking cars down, new engines, so I think the next practice will really set the stage on it as far as who's got the speed. 26th, Glenn Cook. Mike Beeler, 27th. 28th, Mike Shapiro. 29th, Joey Brazil. 30th, Jay Jolison. Brett Wasson, 31st. Mitch Klein, 32nd. Brian Collins, 33rd. Rick Thompson, 34th. And like I said, we had a couple of cars that did not have transponders on them. I think Jacob Smith was one. I heard of a couple of them, so we'll get some times on them next time out. Ryan Reynolds, glad we're able to see a preview of tomorrow night's action. Times, yeah, like I said, Ryan, I wanted to, let me brighten this camera. This is a manual camera we use on the TV show, so you're going to see it brighten up a little bit here. It'll shake a little, too, because I've got a little tiny tripod under it. I was actually, the reason I was late coming online, I was scanning engines, the crate engines we scan. We're partnered with Chevrolet's program from Detroit. Tremendous support they give us. So we're one of their test centers for a lot of their new equipment. So I was personally scanning the engines. The reason for that is they're so protective of this technology. Basically, it will only work with my fingerprints on it through the device that we scan. So I was out doing that, and we had 35-plus engines to scan. So back on the track again right now are the 5150 Junior late models, and I'll give you the first session. Bradley Erickson was fast time first session with a 15.125. Now, they run a restrictor plate. So it's a choked down version of the pro cars. That's really the only difference is the restrictor plate, and it's a tapered plate like you hear a lot about with NASCAR. Cole Brown second fast. Cody Kimley third fast. Now, kind of interesting here. You've got Bradley Erickson, TJ Clark, all that camp over there helping him. You've got Cole Brown, which is the Mike Doss camp helping. Cody Kimley, which is the Shepard's. Dick Shepard wrenching on that car. He's third fast. Ethan Nascimento. Nascimentos have won a lot in October. Took out a lot of our money out of here with Eric Holmes at the wheel. Holly Clark in fifth. Good to see Holly in fifth after she had a pretty tore-up race car. I understand they had to go clear back to Michigan with it. Daniel watching from Kentucky. Let's go 90. Good to have, let's see, we've got Alabama in here. We've got Kentucky. Aiden Kaiser from Vegas on his way to Madeira. So, kind of fun. People from all over. So back to our leaderboard here. We had Kersey Young 6th, Cade McClenny 7th, Brody Moore, Brody Armtrout, Keena Mitchell, a couple of them not listed, Cale McClenny, Robbie Keneally, and a few others there. They'll be out shortly. Let's see if our need to remind our guys to turn some lights on. So you're going to hear me jump on the radio here with the guys. Kenny to John Williams, make sure you turn on the grandstand lights, please. Grandstand lights, John Williams. So let's go back to leaderboard here. I'll give you a report in just a second on where they're at right now. You guys, if you're watching Race Monitor, I don't have it set up over here next door because I have my iPad and my iPhone completely tied up. I've got it tethered into this system. I have 4 cellular devices, 2 modems, an iPad, a cell phone, and a dribble of a landline coming in here. That's how I'm giving you the signal, and that's how we're pushing this. So I end up tying up my devices. I'm normally on Race Monitor, and the way these applications work for the bonded, you actually can't knock them down. You can't operate in the background, so they're caught in the foreground. Sterling Baker, hey, Ryan Reynolds, you and your brother are some good drivers. They are good drivers. They're very smooth, aren't they, Sterling? And that class is so competitive. The MSTs are so closely matched. That type of driver, it lends itself really well, that MST class does, to a driver that moves to a 602 late model or 602 modified because they're momentum cars. And so Ryan Reynolds and his brother Sean have talked about either buying a 602 modified or even moving up to late models. Myself, I'd like to see them buy a late model and a modified and kind of switch back and forth. They're hard to tell apart when they're walking around the pits as it is. What's interesting, Sterling, is how close their championship battle is, and we have 1 race left in the MST and the club championship, and it's basically a tie right down to the wire. So we'll see. The brothers usually race each other very clean but very aggressive, very hard. So again, what you see on the track right now is 5150 Junior Late Model Series. That was Bradley Erickson, chased by the 2 McClenny boys. Just came across start-finish line. Right now coming across start-finish line is Keena Mitchell, chased by the 17 of Kersey Young. Young up on the Will Klein. So it'll be interesting to watch tomorrow night. You know, this is not the championship night for the 5150 Junior Late Model Series or for the Nut Up Pro Late Model Series. So I think it's an interesting dynamic. There's an enormous amount of money on the table tomorrow night. $10,000 to win for the Nut Up Pro Late Models, $5,000 for second, $3,000 for third, and on, $4,500 for the B-Main. But there's still a whole group of cars, a group of competitors that have to race in 2 weeks for the championship. And for that purse and that bonus money and that structure. So usually we always end the season with the short track shootouts, our last televised race, but because of COVID, rescheduling, and that chaos, we ended up with championship night being October 17th. Speaking of that, Mission Foods came on board and is helping us that night. So is Frank's Radio, so is 5150, and we're doing something really special for the kids. There's $10,000 of bonus money up for grabs for the kids on October 17th for the 5150 Junior Late Model Series. $10,000 of bonus money. But here's how we're doing it. It's not $10,000 to win. Each of the top 5 will get $1,000. 5th through 10th will get $500. And then 11th through 15th, and then 16th through 20th, and so on. There's bonus money available there. So it helps everybody out equally to help them. So that'll be interesting. And then shortly after that, we haven't finalized it, but it looks like right now it'll be October 31st will be our club race championship night. And Mission Foods threw in $2,000. They wanted to see $2,000 to win for the finale for the club race. So I'm really proud of how we've worked with our sponsors and how we've produced a lot of prize money when we have nobody in the grandstands. Look at this shot right here. I know you can see a little bit of it there on the left. The whole place is a ghost town. And it's almost, I don't understand how we run a racetrack without beer sales, hot dog sales, ticket sales. That's where it's all generated from. But somehow, some way, we were able to land a lot of sponsorship and keep this program rolling. We're on MAV TV with it, and it's just worked. Here we are. You know, this is after this race, we have 2 to go, and we put a whole season into half season, which I think is pretty amazing. Who else is out there? Where are you guys from right now? Let me know where you're watching from if you're still out there. And it looks like the signal's pretty smooth. Producing it in 480 right now. I'll ramp it up here in a little bit to 720 and then all the way up to 1080 and just see how the cell towers are. So it's kind of unique with cellular and bonding. It's a little bit different every day. And each, with our meters and watching what we've got here for a signal, it changes just a little bit every day, it seems like. Tomorrow we will go live at 5 o'clock. The schedule will be 5:15 to just a few minutes before 6 o'clock. You'll see the replay of the B main that will have happened just half hour prior to that. Then at 6 o'clock, you'll see the 5150 Junior Late Model Series, round number 8 of 9 in that championship. And then approximately 7:30, the Nut Up Pro Late Models will stage for their 150-lap event. The 5150 Junior race will be a 70-lapper, 40 laps, 10-minute break, and then 30 laps. And then the Pro Late Model race tomorrow night is 150 laps. 150 laps tomorrow night. You'll see them stage at 7 o'clock. We should throw the green about 7:45, 7:50. They will go 100 laps, 10-minute break on the front straightaway, and then 50 hang on to your tailpipes laps for $10,000 to win. So see who's out there. Ryan Reynolds, Daniel, Salt Lake City, Utah. I love Salt Lake City. I used to go to the Salt Flats when I was a little boy. We lived in the Midwest, and got to go out there in the early 70s riding on the back of a 57 Chevy station wagon with my dad that was all hopped up, and just amazing memories of them. Let's see. Deanna Hurd, Florida, here cheering y'all on. Well, good to have you with us, Deanna. Make sure you join tomorrow night, 5 o'clock. Some of the best live racing you'll see in the country, and we're proud of our sponsors, Nut Up, 5150, Mission Foods, for helping us bring this live to you. Steve Fernandez, one of our top fans, watching, as always, Veterans Home in Fresno. Steve, we miss you guys so much. We really, I personally enjoy, being from a military family when each year, as you know, we have all the veterans come out, and there's a couple of bus loads, and we do a free veterans night. We do our military tribute night, and that's the things that I miss so much this year. It's amazing. I've been doing this 14 years here at the Madera Speedway, and the thing I miss the most is the fans. I've become such good friends. It feels like family from all these folks, so I miss you guys badly. Miss you guys being out here. Deanna absolutely will be here to watch. Go Jake Bowman. I was talking about Jake a little bit earlier. Jake's due, a little bit overdue for a victory lane ride. So it's always enjoyable to see drivers, especially with the juniors. We see them just gain so much confidence, come into their own. All of a sudden they start winning and you can't stop them. And I kind of look for that from Jake as well. He's been really close. I'm not sure if setups have been a little off. They talk about, tight middle lot. The Nate Clower drivers, we've heard that quite a bit on the TV show. So that group's as good as anyone tuning cars up. So hopefully they get Jake into a spot where he can compete and run pretty strong for a win there. Steve, always support Valley Racing. It's funny because when we do the TV show tomorrow night, the guys will hardly get to interact with you guys. So we basically push an extra feed out so you guys can watch. When we do the club races, I enjoy it so much. And I watch the racing as a fan and fired up and having fun. But I enjoy the live chat as much as anything. A couple weeks ago, I guess, it got a little bit heated and someone was mad. Someone pushed somebody or did something on the track and people started going at each other. And so I had quite a few messages about, you ought to shut that live chat off. Just shut it down. I told them, heck no, that's my favorite part. I get caught reading and interacting. What amazing technology we have to be able to broadcast live racing, interact with you guys. Sterling Baker, I miss being in the infield with the push truck. We miss you out here. Like I said, it's just what a strange time we're living in. I would have never thought in a million years you'd run a racetrack without the fans. But through technology and part of my hard-headedness, that's why we wanted to bring this to you live and free so we could help build this fan base. There's a lot of race fans out there. Give this product to you for free, and then it gives us something to interact with. It doesn't completely, even though it's more virtual, you guys aren't missing. You're still here with us, even though it's on short track TV instead of here physically. Aiden, I hope Cale or Cabe can get a win tomorrow. Just top three. I wouldn't say or just top three. Those boys are up on the wheel. A lot of folks, including Brian Herzog and other people helping set those cars up and coaching the kids. And I don't know. It's Cale's kind of come into his own also. Speaking of Jake Bowman gaining confidence, I wouldn't be surprised if Cale drove that thing to victory lane. I mean, he is up on the wheel. Brian Herzog in his ear. He's got so much confidence. He may have a cape with an S on it underneath that fire suit when he gets in the car right now, because, I mean, he looks like a completely different driver, like he just gained all that confidence. He's on the track right now, actually, Aiden, he's down the back straightaway. Pardon me, that's his brother. So cars look pretty close to each other. Well, we've been on, looks like about 20 minutes here. I'm probably going to run this out about 45 minutes, make sure everything stays connected, tied together. In fact, what I'll do, I'll stay on here. Let's see, we're about 15 minutes more of the juniors, and then you'll see the pros come back out. And I don't know if any of you guys saw on Facebook the picture I posted of the pros when they were getting ready to roll out for practice, but there is nothing more beautiful than 3 or 4 rows wide of late models stacked up down pit road, any race car for that matter, but especially, you know, the way we've grown this to be able to have this type of car count at this time. And you know, watching Stephen Blakesley and I were talking, Watsonville had probably one of the record car counts of all time out here with the modified race, with the Pettit Memorial race just a couple of weeks ago. So hats off to anyone that can put these races on with no spectators and produce car counts like that. It's something really special to keep the sport moving forward in a pretty crazy time. Let's see, pro late models are staging right now on the back straightaway. So they're starting to pull up. We still got some juniors loading up. Let's listen into the guys here. Yeah, just listening to scoring right now. As soon as the, sorry about that, just shook the camera on you guys. Steve Fernandez looking for the big night Saturday night. Steve, who do you think will win tomorrow night? Nut Up Pro Late Model Short Track Shootout, $10,000 to win. They get this crazy 100-pound silver cup. Thing's gorgeous. Then this beautiful Race to Be Drug-Free Big 3 trophy. It's probably another 100 pounds. And then this giant $10,000 to win check. 3 big prizes will be laying on the roof of what car tomorrow night? It's kind of interesting. The last Big 3 race, September 5th, that ended with a mess down the back straightaway. All the leaders wrecked at curfew. And Jeremy Doss was running 4th. He was back to 5th that night. Looked like Buddy Shepard was the dominant car that night. Jeremy Doss was the dominant car on July 25th. But in the last race, the fastest car was Carlos Vieira, and really fast on the bottom of the track, where Buddy was dominant on the top. There's a couple other players in there, Trevor Huddleston. Now we have Jason Romero. Jason, last time he was down here, Jason's always fast at this racetrack. They're wound up. They're fast. There's quite a few other really fast competitors out there right now. So you guys give me your prediction. Who do you think will win? I'll go down the list here. Racing Vernon, big engine, and fly-in. So you've got your 602 combination, 350 horsepower. Racing Vernon's probably got 700 horsepower crawling out of that hood. So it's a matter, can they keep their tires on the car long term? Nascimento, their car, big engine car. That thing's breathing fire and rolling. Dylan Zampa, smooth as silk out there, little 602. Ryan Philpott, he looks at the big picture. We've got Ethan Nascimento in the junior. He's rolling out right now. Sterling, I would like to see the 77 Pro Late Model win. You know, if that's Rick Thompson you're talking about, Rick has won a television show before. In fact, he came real close, lost by a couple of inches, and then the next TV show he won. I believe it was the first season. Let's see. Someone predicted Logan Zampa. Logan Zampa, he's taken a $10,000 check out of here a couple of years ago. Short track shootout winner year before last. Who else? What do you guys think? Who's the, let's go another angle. Who's the dark horse? Let's look down this list. If you would pick an outsider that hasn't won, Carlos Vieira certainly has been fast. Racing Vernon's won on TV before. That's a potential winner. Dylan Zampa won just a couple of races ago. Ryan Philpott won the last Big 3 race after that big wreck down the back straightaway. Dean Thompson's fast. Austin Herzog, last year's champion. Ross Dremiska. Ross has always been 3rd or 4th in speed, it seems like. I don't know if you could say knocking on the door of winning, but he's always right there. So something happens, could be crazy. Let's see what Steve had to say there. I don't know, but I'll be watching. A few of the heavy hitters can't compete per sanctions, but Buddy has been consistent. Yeah, I think a few of the heavy hitters can't compete per sanction. I guess that might be is that from suspensions, Steve? Because there's Matt Erickson certainly could have been a favorite to win this. His car was really rolling before the mess happened that got a few people suspended. Let's see. Zampas are running strong, too. Very consistent. Zampas, I put them in the category of Rostromiska. If you take your big three, your big four, which would be Buddy Shepard, Jeremy Doss, Carlos Vieira, probably Trevor Huddleston. They've been, I would say that's the big four so far in the Race to be Drug-Free Big Three series. They all wrecked in the last race. That happens again. Who's sitting on their back bumper could cash a pretty big check. So who would that list be? So we're down to Ryan Philpott, Austin Herzog we mentioned, Rostromiska, Eric Nascimento, Barry Carr, Seth Wise. Seth Wise actually ran third in that big mess when they wrecked. So in that last deal, he took down a $2,000 check. Unfortunately, probably spent every penny of it after that big wreck he was in last week. So pretty amazing they got that car back together. Logan Zampa, another one. Tim Skoglund. Sheldon Cooper. What would that be like to see Sheldon Cooper win this race tomorrow night? You never know. Could happen. He's run fifth a bunch, sixth a bunch. If you're in the right place, right circumstances. Here we go. This manual camera getting dark on you guys again. Let me crank it open again for you. Go a little brighter here. That'll help you out. The other situation tomorrow night, it's 150 laps. That first leg is 100 laps. Here's a big deal, though. Two big deals, actually. They have to run the same set of tires. So it really becomes a game of how you manage your tires, and we've got this track so hooked up. We worked really hard on the top groove. It came in. We've already got the bottom groove set. Now we've got an extreme high groove we'll work on. Actually, tonight at a few minutes after 8, we'll go high side only. We cone the track off. So the thing you get lured into, the track is so hooked up, you can actually drive the car very easily, really fast, and that tears the tires up. So that first 100 laps, taking care of your equipment, that's one thing. The other element, a lot of the cars have switched to E85, Sunoco E85, ethanol-based fuel, versus the old Sunoco 110. The 110, you get a lot better gas mileage. The E85, you don't get great gas mileage. It uses quite a bit more. So you guys will have to watch for that tomorrow night as well. If there's a lot of yellows, or if it gets kind of crazy, you could see some fuel mileage issues. Now the teams, there's no requirement in our rules on the fuel cell size. They can run whatever size they want. And so you can kind of gamble with that. But a lot of the teams have gone to a little bit bigger fuel cell, but some of the teams have not. So there could be a fuel mileage issue in that first 100 laps if you see a lot of yellows. Steve, praying the video lasts the whole event. Boy, we are too, Steve. It's probably the most frustrating thing I've had this year. We spent a lot of money to add the system to bring you the live stream while we're doing the MAV TV shows. And as I've explained before, it's just old landlines, just old dribble DSL that comes into here. So we have a point-to-point, but they moved where the signal comes from, and that point-to-point that we get our internet from is not very consistent, not very strong. I mean, if we're getting 2.5, 3 megs upload a minute, that's screaming fast for what we get. So it's not really strong, and it'll drop completely out. So we have to back it up with bonded cell. And what's happened, when we send the signal to YouTube, it will just quickly time out. When it drops the signal, it just drops it. And so we did this time, we've got 2 backup feeds that we programmed. So if one drops, the other one pushes in, and it's a little bit of a redundant system, but it seemed to work earlier this week in a lot of private tests, and that's part of why I'm doing this test right now. So we hope it holds also. I think we'll have a lot of people watching tomorrow night. I think it'll be a pretty strong event. So just a couple more minutes right now, actually 5 more minutes. Keena Mitchell's on the track right now with a 5150 junior late model. You'll see her roll off of turn 4. That's her down there in turn 4 coming towards Frank in the flag stand. And there's a bunch of pro late models. It'll get real noisy here in a little bit. I'll run next door and grab a speed chart real quick. So I'm going to put my headset down for just a brief second, and I'll be right back with you guys. Tyler Rogers, what's up, Kenny? Track looks great as always. We miss you, Tyler. You guys are down there camping, having fun. We're all camping down here. This is sort of like, that's the sad part without the fans. We're all down here camping in the pits, but usually if you've not been to a short track shootout, short track shootout, this is the 8th annual one, when we get back to normal life next year, put it on your calendar. Would love to have all of you guys out here. Normally, the grandstands are packed, but on Friday night, the camping area is packed. It's like being at Bristol. It's like being at Sears Point, if you've ever been up there to a cup race, where it's just this festive atmosphere. A lot of people barbecuing, having parties, playing games, horseshoes, just all kinds of stuff. It's so much fun, and we miss that so much. So we would love to see you guys back with us next year when we're allowed to open the grandstands. And I was very disappointed we didn't get to at least a percentage of the grandstands. We really wanted to open for the short track shootout and have a lot of our friends out here with us, but doing our best. Let's see, Steve, it's been a season of compromise. We'll still follow, and we will continue. Yep. I'll tell you what, Steve, the easiest thing to do this year, even when we fought to get back to racing, the easiest thing would have been just to say, hey, guys, we'll see you in 2021, because this is a train wreck. But we wouldn't do it. And we just kept scratching and clawing and digging and working with sponsors and figured out a way to do this. So we didn't give up. And I'm really, really glad that we didn't, even though this has been extremely hard in a lot of ways. I mean, financially, it's been a very expensive season for us running the Speedway, but have to keep racing going. We've got to keep these teams going. There's a lot of deals out here. There's a lot of sponsors on these teams. There's a lot of business, with folks renting cars and working with different people and crew chiefs and full-time mechanics. So you don't want to see the whole industry cave in, even though it's hard on us. We have a responsibility to keep it going. So Pro late models are getting ready to come out. I'll be right back with you guys. I'm going to run next door and grab a couple of speed sheets, so hang tight. You'll get to hear the cars as they're rolling out here. All right, I'm back. Pam Silva, I see you on there now. Sorry, I jumped next door, so I missed that. Let's see. Pam, so miss being there with you guys. This best weekend of the year. Next year will be even better. Next year, I'd like to have to put grandstands on the back straightaway from all the people that have said they're going to come out and attend a race just to say thank you for the free live shows and everything that we've been doing. So I hope we have to do that, turn the place into a drive-in. I thought about that. How cool would it be if we own these grounds ourselves? And from turn 1 all the way to turn 3 and 4, you do like triple-decker parking and just turn it into a drive-in with a speaker in the window or broadcast on FM. Let people bring their own sodas, beer, popcorn, whatever. Have a little concessions area they could go hang out with and turn it into a racing drive-in. That might be a fix for this if it went too long. Let's see here. Stats, see what we've got on this bonded side. I'm tinkering around with my bonded gear also, making sure everything's tied together still. So 36 minutes, 37 seconds, no issues yet. Pam, are you guys all ready for next week? Big weekend for you. I'm sure you're working hard over there, probably working Jeff to death right now getting ready. Actually, the camera that you see us using right now, Pam, is one of 3 cameras I'll rig up for over there, one of our cinema cameras that will help you guys out with next week. Pro late models on the track right now. Again, we'll go live tomorrow night at 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock will be from 5 to 6. You'll see the B-Main. 6 o'clock, you'll see the 5150 Junior Late Model Series. About 7:30, 7:40, you'll see the Nut Up Pro Late Models stage. And that will be for their 150-lap event that should go off a few minutes before 8 o'clock. 100 laps straight through, 10-minute break, then a 50-lap hammer-down affair. Now, here's the cool part. This B-Main, it's the race to be drug-free Big 3. The B-Main is 33 laps. Everything we're doing in 3 is the top 3 big money, top 3 qualifiers. So it's 33 laps of a B-Main. Picture 17, 18 cars, 33 laps for 4,500 to win. That will probably be the race of the night. Probably be a lot of fun. So you guys will get to see that right when we go live. See if we can crank this camera up a little bit for you guys again. So Nut Up Pro Late Models on the track right now. Sheldon Cooper down there in 3 and 4 flying. He's rolling right up on the back bumper of Austin Herzog. Ironically, Austin's dad, Brian, has been one of the ones helping Sheldon with a lot of the speed in that race car. Matt went right behind them. Brian Collins in the 0-2 right behind them. Then Carlos Fierro. Tyler Herzog working the high side of the track already. Glenn Cook rolling. Ross Stramiska back around there. Thanks, Ryan Reynolds. That was nice of you to say that. All this effort. Hopefully this feed stays really strong tomorrow night for us. Pam Silva, we are close. But, yes, I'm working Jeff to death. Between the wedding and remodel, life's been crazy. Can't wait to see you guys. We can't wait to see you, too. We have not stopped working ourselves, Pam. As you know, it's been every weekend. As soon as we opened the racetrack in early June, we got rolling again, and it's been every weekend. So hard on the race team, so hard on our staff. And next weekend is our first weekend off of this, what we call it's our full year. We put a full season and a half season. And so we're heading over to our friends, Jeff and Pam Silva, over in Aptos, where their son Nick is getting married. So what am I going to do? I'm taking cameras. I'll have the editors at Short Track TV. We'll make a movie out of it for them. So that'll be a lot of fun, our first weekend off. And then the following weekend, October 17th, that's championship night. So make sure you tune in, Short Track TV again. 5150 Junior Late Model Series and Nut Up Pro Late Model Series, plus the Mini Cups Bandos. That's their championship night. And then even though we're working out a few details, there's a couple of teams that can't make the 31st. We're trying to make arrangements. It looks like we're going to merge the 24th and the 31st all together. Everything will be on October 31, and that will be championship night for the club racing. And it's pretty crazy. That's usually not real big purses for the late models, but our friends at Mission Foods that came on board with us, they put up $2,000 to do a little something special for the Madeira late models that evening. So that'll be a lot of fun on their championship night. And somewhere in the middle of all this, I'm scheduling a dinner for our officials that we'll do a big barbecue and feed that if you've seen any pictures on Facebook of me tuning up my different recipes, that's for our officials appreciation dinner we have coming up that Tammy and I are going to host probably right here on the front straightaway. We'll do a little dinner with everyone that we've been with every weekend out here and working hard. So Nut Up Pro Late Models on the track right now, coming down the front straightaway. Blaine Rocha Right behind Blaine is the 8 car of Jason Romero, Dylan Zampa, Dean Thompson, Logan Zampa, Mr. Brazil, Mike Doss, Mike Weeman. Cars are flying around the track. I'll get you some times here in just a couple of minutes. Junior late models were just out. I'll give you the leaderboard right now. Bradley Erickson, he's worked his way down. He's 15.059. Cole Brown still in second. Jake Bowman has moved all the way up to third, basically tied. Jake Bowman's 15.095, fast times 0.59. Kersey Young in fourth. Ethan Nascimento fifth. Holly Clark. Cody Kimley, Cabe McClinney, Cale McClinney, and Brody Moore making up the top 10. So of the leaders there, Bradley Erickson, he has been so tough. It looked like it was going to be Seth Wise's season. But Bradley Erickson stepped in. He's been really tough. Cole Brown's won a race. Had the last race look like he was going to get the lead first before he jumped to start. Ended up having to serve a penalty. Worked his way all the way back to third. Did a good job there. Jake Bowman. So the two of the juniors that are on the top of the leaderboard, Bradley Erickson and Cole Brown, have won races. Jake Bowman has not won a race yet. He's third fast. Kersey Young knocking on the door, too. She's fourth fast. Ethan Nascimento fifth fast, and Holly Clark sixth. Well, there's potential. And then, Cody Kimley with all of that help from the Shepherds. And then you jump over to Cabe and Cale McClinney with all that help from so many people. Let me tell you a cool story about Cabe and Cale. So we scan the tires, we brand the tires, we do all these things to the tires. Here's what's really cool. Cabe and Cale McClinney, they run used tires every weekend, and they beat up on a lot of the big tractor-trailer teams to the point where it frustrates some of the big teams at times. And Cabe and Cale McClinney, they go around, they get hand-me-down tires, so they get 1 or 2 tires off of car X and a tire from car Y and on and on. So between those 2 cars, it took like 7 teams. I was over in the tire shed when they were doing the scans and branding the tires and certifying them. And the teams that run used tires have to, bring them in for inspection. There's a barcode that we can run, and we can track who owned it, how many laps, all that. And they just hand me down pieces from all over the place. You talk about the little team that could, that Cabe and Cale McClinney, again, picking on a lot of the real big fast race teams. You'll notice it's kind of a little hazy out there and a little smoky. I mean, real smoky out there. Let me see if I can crank this up just a little bit for you guys. Might get a little bit dark. I'll leave it right there for a few minutes. But pretty amazing with Sheldon Cooper, same way. Almost no budget. These guys race on just a couple $100 a week. Hand-me-down parts and pieces, used tires, whatever it takes, and they just do an incredible job. So Ryan Reynolds says, miss those club barbecues. Well, Ryan, you might see one before this year's over. We're actually doing a Mission Foods barbecue coming up on October 16th. Might have to have one of those on October 30th. Zach Culler. Hi, boss. Hello, Zach. That's the best cameraman on the move right there. I hope your legs are well rested, Zach, because this is going to be one hammer-down affair. I hope you don't have to work as hard crawling up on walls and in cars this week, but better rest well and be ready for it. Yep, we look forward to seeing you next week, Pam. Like I was saying, Tammy, I should be ready to do it this week as hard as we've been working. How many hours here? Okay, 44 minutes, no hiccups. Looks like everything's rolling real smooth. Nut Up Pro late models out on the track right now. Mitch Klein's on the track. Mitch, all the way up from Washington, will roll right back around and head to Washington. They're racing here tomorrow. Then he's racing a big event in Washington. They'll drive all night long to make it back up there. R.J. Smotherman, there's a cool name, cool kid. Y'all doing the pumpkin smash race? No, I wish we all were doing it, R.J. Unfortunately, we have to cancel the pumpkin smash this year. That's a fan-driven event, all about the kids, 100% kids trick-or-treating, smashing pumpkins. We probably spend a week and I'd say $5,000 to $7,000 cleaning the place up again, replacing billboards. There's just no way to host that event without our fans whatsoever. Unfortunately, it's a sad deal, too, because last year it was on Lucas Oil and then the Edge, and we were scheduled to put it back on Lucas Oil. So I saw they running the big event down in Texas. So can't wait to get our big $10,000 to win pumpkin smash back on the schedule next year. But unfortunately here, probably Monday afternoon, you'll see it come off the schedule. It's actually a done deal. We tried to salvage it, but no way. Same thing with this weekend. We weren't able to even get a percentage of the fans out here. Zach, Josh and I having a barbecue. What? Josh is not here working. He's barbecuing with you, Zach? I'm telling Frank. Josh, you better be ready to probably mop the bottom of the flag stand tomorrow after that if you don't bring some good barbecue out for us. Steve Fernandez, race monitor showing 30 cars. Hope to see you all on Saturday. Steve, there's actually, let me look at my list here. We got some without transponders. 36 right now. 36 Pro late models on the printout that have been on the racetrack. So they may have a few without. I know there's a few without transponders are having some issues. Rick Erickson, the main event should be 333 laps. Wouldn't that be cool? All threes. We actually used to run a 300-lapper down at the old Mesa Marin. At the old track there, Mesa Marin. And that was always one of my funnest races. Live pit stops, Southwest Tour cars. Awesome race. The way you approach the race is so different. So, yeah, if we had a pit road where you could do live pit stops down here, maybe only give the teams 2 tires to make the 300 laps in total. I don't know. How fun would it be to go 333 laps on one set of tires? Might be a lot of fun. Do 2 100-lap breaks and then go 133 or 110, something like that. It'd be a lot of fun. Actually, Steve, it is a really good car count. Steve Fernandez said awesome car count. The sad part is we are missing a few drivers. And then we're also missing club racers. The club racers still have a big event coming up. So anyone that's in the championship, and this is a really, really hammer-down affair, we could have easily, let's say this was the last night of the season, we probably could have picked up another 15 to 18 cars. That puts us, we've been 52 to 54 before at this event. That would put us right there at that number. So the other thing that happened is usually this is the last event of the season, the Nut Up Short Track Shootout for the TV series. We have a television race on the backside of this, and believe it or not, there's a very conservative approach by a couple of the teams, and then a few of the teams that aren't even running tonight. So, and you take your club racers, Lauren Papa-Kunst, Jason Aguirre, and Lily Mead, Trevor Slunt. I could go on and on. If this were the last race of the year, they would be out here to get after this thing on a track that they know very well, but there's still a lot at stake for them. So it could have easily, even on a conservative note, could have gone from 36 to 46, 47 real easy. But I'll tell you, in the COVID world we live in, the way things have been, to be able to pay purses, number one, has been amazing. So many of our friends are just doing trophies only at friends that have racetracks. I understand why. They're all asking us how in the world we're doing this, paying record purses at a time that you don't have fans and hot dog and hamburger and beer sales, but that's one thing. To be able to broadcast it for free is another, to be able to have the engagement and to have the success we've had with sponsorship, and then the success with our MAV TV show that's watched by so many people. To me, it's just really been a blessing to be able to do this, and proof that if you're hard-headed and stick with it, I think you can make anything work. So it got a little bit quiet there. Looks like they're picking something up off of the racetrack right now. They're on the backside, clear at the middle of the back straightaway. Let's see. I know it's getting a little bit dark for you guys, but I think I'm going to leave it right there with this camera and not switch the lens. Rick Erickson, 75, 75, then go. Boy, that'd be a heck of a deal, wouldn't it, Rick? So you've got, 133 laps left on that one. That'd be a heck of a deal. Dave Pereira, great job, Kenny. Madera staff officials. Week after week. Evans. Well, Dave, it's been a pleasure having you watch us. I can't tell you how much we miss you. And it's just a testament, and you know this from being probably the most important person around me when we started this crazy venture of running racetracks back at Altamont in 2006. Dave Pereira was right there, pretty much right-hand man all the way through. Traveled a lot of miles over here, on weekends. And you know this, Dave, it's all about the people and the staff that we have. It's absolutely incredible. Yes, this year we've ground them to the ground. I mean, you can see them beat up. You do a club race one week, TV show, club race, TV show. It's hard on the teams. it just isn't designed. You need breaks and you need time for the teams. But as you know, Dave, it's the people. It's the Dean Grays, the Franks, Michael, Anthony, all the different. I could go on and on. Eric and Seth and everyone that just stays in here. Marty, that's replaced Rod Carsey on the safety. Poor Marty. I mean, we started out here. I came down yesterday in my motorhome. We started at 5:30 a.m. this morning. John Williams, Jim Kishel, they were up and moving before I was moving, and just absolutely incredible group of people. This place is amazing, and the team we've had, so much passion for the sport. So you're working hard, but it doesn't feel like working. Dave Pereira knows this more than anyone. You live everyone's emotions when you're running a racetrack. One person gets to win. We've got to live with all the unhappiness inside our bodies, and there's only one real happy person. So Dave probably knows it better than anyone right beside me. So appreciate your comments very much, Dave. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night because I think it's going to be one hammer down enjoyable race. Dave Pereira, I wish this was one of the days like, when we were out running around the Southwest Tour, I was talking about the 300 lappers and all the big races and stuff we did. I can't tell you how much I wish I could watch this race tomorrow night from my house barbecuing for a Dave Pereira, Al Ganella. I wish Al was still with us. Corey, Scott Hogan, I wish he was down and we could barbecue, drink some beer, and watch this Saturday night short track shootout on a giant screen being broadcast the way it is. I would love that. So it's going to be a great, great event. Can't wait to see it. Lots of race cars on the track right now. Let's see who's out there. Rick Thompson just went by. Joey Brazil. Got a Herzog who's coming here. Hans Bieler. Hans Bieler, basically from go-karting to racing late models. And this kid's advancing quickly. Lily Mead's cruising down the front side of the grandstands on her scooter. She tried to talk her parents into racing this weekend, but they're hanging on. They're about tied for the championship in the regular Madeira late models. Sorry about the shake there. Let's see if I can move this thing around just a little bit. I know it's getting a little bit dark, but I think I'll stay with that. Instead of switching lens. 53 minutes. I was hoping to go at least 1 hour here. See if the signal's locked in, and hopefully it behaves as well tomorrow night as well. Steve Fernandez, racers in the Valley, solid bunch. What an amazing valley, huh, Steve? When you go back to, Kenny Takeuchi, he's been such an influence. Blackie Jejin, when Blackie would come out here, I'd sit and chat with him. And Kenny, for example, I'd sit up at the West Coast Stock Car Hall of Fame, would have lunch, and over the years just get to chat with Kenny about the history, and he'd tell me about, Bill Vukovich, Bill 1, Bill Sr., out in the grape vineyards, in the late 30s and early 40s, and all of the history and the IndyCar influence and the Gearharts, just how much influence the Valley had on Indianapolis in particular, but then how many great race car drivers have come from the Valley. And I think what we see here and what Dave Pereira was talking about, great staff, Madeira staff, there's so much, they're just so passionate. It's like this is their house, this is their ground. Frank, CK, Gilbert, it's not really, we're all just a spoke on the wheel. And those great racers from the Valley and those traditions are what makes the Madeira Speedway so great, and the people that operate it. And I'm not including myself in that group. I'm talking about the people that just put their heart and soul in here. You buy them a hamburger and they come out and work like you're, paying them $500 an hour. They're amazing people. Dean Thompson flying down the back straightaway right now. Glenn Cook behind him. Matthew Wendt, then Carlos Vieira. Trevor Huddleston, Parker Malone, Mike Shapiro, Seth Wise, and then back to Dean Thompson. A lot of cars rolling here. Again, if this sounds or looks just a little bit different, it's a single camera shoot, one of my cinema cameras. I plug the headset right in. I don't have feedback because I can't even really hear myself talking. I just hear the cars. So hopefully I'm not yelling at you guys. Hooked up a little computer, hooked our encoder up and all of our bonded equipment just to give it a little test, give you guys an update what's going on. Again, we'll go live tomorrow night at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock juniors, 7:45, 8 o'clock pros. Hope you've got a seatbelt on your couch tomorrow night because you'll probably be able to cut the tension with a knife when you get down to that 130, 140 mark. Track is hooked up. As soon as we're finished here, I'm going to shut everything down here in about 15 minutes. It's, 7:05. We go to 9 o'clock tonight. From 8:15 to 9 o'clock, we'll go high side. So if we had the live feed going, what you would see is cones all the way around the center of the track, and then we'll push them clear up to the third groove, kind of the Darlington groove we've been working clear up against the fence. So should be pretty amazing. Davey 51, has your smoke subsided a little? Down here in L.A., it's less. Davey, it did a lot, and then all of a sudden some fires from the north blew down in here, and it is very smoky again. So all the mess we had with the Oakhurst and kind of up in that, just up above us, Bass Lake. Actually, we had some people staying in my motorhome that I'm in right now, but we had folks that were had to evacuate from the fire, stayed here at the Speedway. And so that fire settled down, and now all of a sudden we've got this from the north. So, man, I mean, it's very smoky. I don't know how well. It's kind of dark on this lens. I'm using a different, again, one of our cinema. This is one of our interview cameras that we use for our documentaries, but it's a manual lens, so you probably can't see it because it's pretty dark out behind it, but it is really hazy. Almost looks like fog. So, and it's amazing. One of the TV events we did about a month ago, I mean, it was crazy to look at it on the big monitors back at the studio, just how hazy and how fog-like it looked like. That's funny, Dave Pereira. Still have Al on your speed dial. Well, he's parked about, it's alphabetical, of course. So he's parked just a couple of away from you on my speed dial. So, yeah, he'll stay there. And I'll tell you a story one night after Al passed away. Holy cow. My phone rang, and it was from Al's phone. So I'm hoping it was Cheryl, or maybe I'm not hoping it was Cheryl that just tapped his phone. But it rang about 3 in the morning, and it was a phone call from Al Ganella. So I have to tell you the story about answering it one of these days over a cold beer. So, yeah, I miss Al. Wonderful times flying in the airplane, and those seems like a lifetime ago, but just incredible times, those guys. So out on the racetrack right now, Jeremy Doss down the back straightaway, Brian Collins and Ross Stramiska, Logan Zampa, Buddy Shepard in the red 81. He liked the red 81. Then Dylan Zampa, 07, Angelina Dempsey. We've got, let's see, Eric Nascimento, back around to Jeremy Doss. Before I sign off here, I'll probably stay with you guys here another, let's get this past an hour. We'll go another 10 minutes, check this feed. I'll get you one more report. I've got to jump next door. Like I said, I've got my iPad tied up in the bonded system, so I'll jump next door and get you a speed chart. I'm sure some of you guys are, heck, you're probably watching on MyLaps right now, or actually Race Monitor. Technology is so great. Why don't you guys tell me who's fast? Whoever's watching Race Monitor, typing in Buddy Shepard, Jeremy Doss, Huddleston, who's fast. It's been kind of unique. Trevor Huddleston hasn't been one of the cars that jumps way up on the speed charts in the round 1 and round 2 of the Race to Be Drug-Free Big 3, but he's one of the big hitters that shows up during the race. Jeremy Doss and Buddy Shepard tend to be the fastest cars on the speed charts from what I saw in the first 2 races. That was true in the first round of practice. You guys may have noticed watching on Race Monitor, they had Mike Doss listed in second, but they had Mike confused. Mike, they had in the 75 car. That's actually Jeremy. Mike Doss was 9th fast in the 35 car, so they had those switched. It's Mike Doss in the 35 car. So I walked up, I was scanning engines, and I saw a little shadow in the trailer, and I said, hey, Jeremy, I need to scan your engine. Can you guys pull the hood off? And then Mike said something. It was Mike's voice. So maybe that led to all of us thinking it was Mike, but he wanted to make that real clear. I thought it looked pretty good, Mike, if you're listening. Or if you listen to this later, Mike Doss, number 2 on the leaderboard, 1 for us old guys. Come on, Mike. So pretty cool he ran the car there. Let's see, what do we have? Steve Fernandez. All right, there we go. There's our report. See how technology works. 81's quick, 75, 51, 52. Is that 51? Is that Carlos Vieira or Thompson? I'm assuming Vieira. So on the track right now is a pair of number 1 cars. We've got Carlos Vieira, that is, 51. Thank you, Steve. So the big fish hitting there. 52, you've got Philpott. He's looking kind of racy right now. But again, Matt Wendt in the 1 car. We've got Tyler Herzog, number 1 car. Mike Beeler in the 6 car. Seth Wise in 87 car. Blaine Roach in 98 car. He's been looking pretty racy too. That's a good looking paint scheme on that car. That's then back around. I believe that's Barry Carr right there. And then, yep. Or Parker Malone. Sorry about that. So it will be kind of interesting. Buddy Shepard in the race to be drug-free, like I mentioned, he pretty much dominated the last race on the high side. Jeremy Doss dominated the July 25th, round 1 on the low side of the racetrack. That was where the groove was. July 25th, it was low side of the racetrack. For the September race, round 2 was a high side. Now with this new surface, we've worked the bottom of the racetrack in. We have a high and a low. So I think it'll be really interesting tomorrow night. What I foresee in my prediction would be, I think the cars will be on the low side early in the race. And then as they start to wear the tires down, they will migrate up the hill. And I think we could see some cars pretty much in the 3rd groove by the end of tomorrow night, especially if the car's a little tight, not quite working right. I think you'll see them up into that step in the 3rd groove. So I think it'll be really interesting. Ryan Reynolds, seems like everyone is running the bottom in 4. Yes, they are. Kind of like a fishing lure, Ryan. We work the bottom side of this racetrack over like nobody's business. Don't tell the racers this either. They're going to have to come listen to this for a setup tip. But the bottom side of the racetrack, it's got the King Coventry Magic Racetrack Barbecue sauce on the bottom of the racetrack. Crazy fast. I would predict we're going to break track records tomorrow night. Then the middle of the racetrack, we strip the rubber out of that. Don't tell the racers, though. And then you go to the high side, clear up in that 3rd groove we used to run. That's got the Magic King Coventry Barbecue sauce up there, too. We will cone the high side of the track. We'll run them up there and put a little rubber down to lay that down. But I think they're going to fall prey to this, Ryan. You run the bottom of the track, it's flat, you know this, a little more abrasive. They're going to wear tires out, but it definitely will be the fast way around early. But I think the driver that moves uphill will be the winning race car driver tomorrow night. So on the track right now, Racing Vernon, speaking of something fast, kind of surprised he's not at the top. That's why I was asking which 51, if it was Vieira or Vernon, as Vernon has been bad fast on a couple of occasions out here in the last week. Really good to see them back out. They've got family, cancer in the family. It's a horrible situation, and we pray for that family. It's nice to see everybody back out and see them out rolling right now. So that's Racing Vernon down in coming out of turn 4 right now. That white car, I know it's probably kind of hard to see when they're going by. Just a wide angle, getting a little dark. Trevor Huddleston coming by start-finish line, and then Brian Collins, modified racer, built a late model up. Out here working hard last Friday night. He's out here making a run. He's got the big engine combination, so he's trying to dial that in. It's good to see Brian out. Okay, the feed has lived for an hour and 4 minutes since it kicked on. So it'll be interesting to see. Looks like it's pretty solid. Like I said, we did a lot of testing Tuesday and Wednesday. I probably spent myself, Quan, at the studio. Oh, heck, there was probably 5 hours of testing. We ran everything. Completely separate system that we're running right now with the backup. So actually, while you guys have watched this, one feed has dropped, the other one kicked in with a backup feed. So that's kind of the theory here, what we're going with. But hopefully it works tomorrow night and stays locked in. We don't have to do any crazy things like restart a feed that just, to me, tears it up. I can't stand that when we have to do that. So Racing Vernon looks pretty fast right now. Rolling, it looks like he backed off. He's rolling to the bottom to save some tires, go tune up. They've got just a couple more minutes here. This might be the last session for them. They go to 7:15. Then the mini cups and bandoleros will come out. And then we'll go to two 15-minute segments for the pros and the juniors, actually the 5150 Junior Late Model Series and the Pro Late Model Series. And then we go to the high side. So we get rolling here. I'm going to sign off in just a minute. So make sure you guys check us out tomorrow night, Short Track TV, 5 o'clock we go live. There'll be a pre-race show for a few minutes. Stephen Blakesley, Jason Galvin, Outback Andy, myself. Then you'll get to see the B main. It will have just finished. Actually, we've set up a recorder. So you'll get to see that replay that happens. Probably the checker will just happen as you're seeing the green. And then after that, 6 o'clock, 5150 Junior Late Model Series. And then about 7:30, 7:45, we'll stage for the 150 lap Nut Up Short Track Shootout. So should be a heck of a night tomorrow night right here on Short Track TV. Make sure you share it with everyone you can. Grab Facebook. If you're on Facebook, grab that post. Share it with everyone you can from Facebook. Looks like Angie's coming next door. I'll give you guys a speed report here real quick. That'll help us out with our high tech. Thank you, Angie. Okay, we got a speed chart of each one. So I'll give you a current speed chart before we sign off. All right, here we go. Steve Fernandez probably already knows this. He could give everyone the report right here. But here's what we have. Buddy Shepard, fast time right now. Oh, boy. Sitting pretty much tied on the track record. 14.787. So I think track record's going to fall tomorrow. Jeremy Doss, second. 14.863. Buddy's rolling. He's back in that red car. He likes that red car over the black car they have. Carlos Vieira, 14.886, pretty much tied with Jeremy. Then Racing Vernon, he laid down a lap. 14.9 flat. He's right there with him, 14.916. Ryan Philpott still way up on the speed charts, looking good. He's pretty much tied 14.927 with Racing. Jason Romero, 14.930. He's rolling. Now look at this. In the top six, let's go top seven, even Bubba Nascimento. He's a 14.931. That is three big engine cars out of the top seven. Eric Holmes has won, as I mentioned earlier when we first went live. Eric Holmes has won this event multiple times, as Mike David has won it once with big engine cars. They seem to come alive in October. Track's really hooked up, so that would be interesting. 8th place, Dylan Zampa. He's in the 14.9s. Austin Herzog, he's 9th in the 14.9s. Trevor Huddleston, 10th, 14.9s. That's kind of where we see Trevor a lot, around the top 10 spot, and then he shows up at the front. Dean Thompson, 14.9s also. Mike Doss, 12th. He's in the 14.9s. Barry Carr, 14.9s also, 13th place. Top 13 cars are in the 14-second bracket. This place, it is stout, and they're running almost identical times. Then in 14th place, Ross Stramiska, 15.0. Blaine Rocha, right there with him, teammate, 15.0. Seth Wise, 15.0 in 16th. Logan Zampa, 15.0. So just the blink of an eye. All those 14.9s, you're almost identical. You're 17th instead of 5th. Just crazy how close this is. Tim Skoglund, 15.0 also. He's back there in 18th. Sheldon Cooper, 15.0, 19th. Joey East in 20th, 15.092, still in the O's. Parker Malone, still in the 15.0s, 15.098, 21st. Crazy. This is like old Southwest Tour stuff. You know, Dave Pereira, he used to do all my tires, and it was crazy. If you just blink, you're a little bit off. You're 25th where you could be 5th. Matthew Wendt is 22nd, 15.1. Mike Weeman, 23rd. Hans Bieler, reading two names together here, 24th. Tyler Herzog, 25th. Glenn Cook, 26th. Mike Bieler, 27th, and they're 15.2s. They're right there. Mike Shapiro, 28th. Joey Brazil, 29th. Jacob Smith, 30th. Jay Jolison, 31st. Angelina Dempsey, 32nd. Mitch Klein, 33rd. Rick Thompson, 34th. Brian Collins, 35th. Let's see, who are we missing? Jacob Smith. Yeah, Jacob still, there's something wrong with his transfer. No, I had it. He's 30th, pardon me. So we had 35 out in that session. In the juniors, we'll recap this real quick. Bradley Erickson, 15.059. He's quick. Cole Brown, 15.071. Jake Ballman, 3rd. Cody Kimley, 4th. Kersey Young, 5th. Ethan Nascimento, 6th. Holly Clark, 7th. Cabe McClenny, 8th. Cale McClenny, 9th. Brody Moore, 10th. Brody Armstrong, Keenan Mitchell, Robbie Keneally, and Casey Klein. So that's the stage. It's set. Can't wait to roll tomorrow. We actually have, let's see, Pete Soto coming in tomorrow. Eric Seeley coming in tomorrow. What do we have? I saw on the list there's 4 competitors scheduled to come in tomorrow. So even where we're at right now, that would put us at 39. 39.40, not bad for this. So again, 5 o'clock tomorrow. Can't wait to see you guys. Thank you for engaging and giving me feedback. I appreciate it very much. Like I say on these live streams, I could just sit here and chat with you guys all night long. But right now I'm going to put these cameras away and go grab some cones and get my rear end to work to help the guys out and put a high groove in so you guys have got a heck of a race to watch tomorrow night. Okay? We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thank you for joining us.